Good morning, Year 2, and welcome to your English lesson. Now, I hope you all got on well yesterday in creating your text maps. Now, today we are going to be starting to create a word bank. Now, we will talk a little bit more in a minute about what a word bank is, in case you are not sure. But just to get you warmed up, first of all, I have got a little starter on the board for you, which just says, can you match the correct tenses? I've got three sentences for you here. One is in the present tense, one is in the future tense, and one is written in the past. And what I'd like you to do is work out which one is which. Now, you don't need to write them down. You don't need to draw them out or anything like that. You can just read those and then you can decide which one is which. So the first one is, as quick as a flash, James jumped over the colossal brick wall and landed with an almighty thud. Do you think that one is present tense, future tense, or past tense? The next one is, just then, James jumps over the gigantic brick wall and lands with an enormous crash. Again, present, future, or past. And the last one, before long, James will hurdle over the immense brick wall and land with a great bump. Okay, so pause the screen now and have a think about which one you think is which. Okay, then let's have a look. So the present tense one was this one here, the middle one, because it says, just then James jumps over the gigantic brick wall and lands. So lands, if it was in the past, it would be landed. And if it was in the future, it would be will land. Okay, so that middle one was the present one. The future one was the bottom one. Before long, James will hurdle over. So it's going to happen in the future. And then past is the top one here. As quick as a flash, James had jumped. So because it's jumped, we know that that is already happened. Okay then, so today's learning intention, as I said earlier on, is to create a word bank. First of all, just have a little think to yourself, what is a word bank? I do have a picture of one on the board, so that might give you a little bit of a clue. What is a word bank? Well, a word bank is just a collection of words all to do with one thing. So as you can see on this one I've got here on the board, this example, I will make that a little bit bigger just to show you. This is a word bank which is all linked to winter. So it's all different words. This one's got pictures on it as well, so that's even better. So it's things like gloves, snowman, woolly hat, polar bear, penguins, so things that all link to winter. Okay, so that's just a simple one there, just as an example for you. Now, the reason why we are creating a word bank is because we are going to use this over the next 3 days where we will be writing a setting description. Okay, now the setting description is going to be linked to our story, The Three Billy Goats Gruff. Okay, so we're going to create a word bank today because that will really help us over the next 3 days, and it will give us lots of ideas and lots of words that we can use in our creative writing over the next 3 days. So we're essentially just doing a bit of pre-planning today. Now, the setting description that we are going to be writing is going to be all about the bridge, the fields, and the stream. So in the past, we have done character descriptions where we have in the past, we described the wolf, if you can remember that from Little Red Riding Hood. We did a character description all about him. We've also done a character description before about Goldilocks, if you can remember when we were creating wanted posters, but we haven't yet done a setting description. So that is when we are just essentially describing the setting of our story. And this will help us later on when we go to write our own versions of the Three Billy Goats Gruff. This will really help us because we'll already know all of that wonderful vocabulary and all of those fantastic adjectives that we are going to include. So I'd like you to take a minute now and just potentially pause the screen and have a really good look at this picture that I've got here for you. Have a look at the bridge, have a look at the stream which is running below, look at all of those rocks, And you can see all of those fields up in the distance, and I can see some trees. I can see some grass here in the foreground. So pause the video now and have a really good look and a really good think about that picture. Okay, so as I've said then, we are going to create a list of adjectives today to describe each of those three different things that I said: the bridge, the fields, and the stream. Now you might be able to think of these just off the top of your head. If you can, that is absolutely wonderful. But if you'd like to do some research about it today, that is also absolutely fine. You can use the internet with the help of your adult to search online for some adjectives. Okay, I'd like to just create a list of each, a list of adjectives for the bridge, a list of adjectives about the fields and the hills, and a list of adjectives all about the stream. Now there's a few ways you can do it. You can just create it as a list. So you could put the bridge as your title, and then you could just create a list underneath of your adjectives you're going to use. Or you could do it as a bit of a spider diagram like this. And I've just got a few examples for you here. So as you can see, I've put the bridge, the stream, and the fields. And then all around them, I've just put some example words. And you are more than welcome to magpie any of these words that I could think of, but I'm sure there are lots more that I know that you can think of today. So the first one is the bridge. So around the bridge, I've put the word rickety. Now we spoke about this the other day. Rickety means like it's wobbly. Rustic. So when something is rustic, it's old-fashioned, it's worn. Oh, there we've got old. Wooden, of course. Narrow. So when something is narrow, it's quite thin. And the space that you walk down is thin and narrow. And then for the fields, I've put that they're spacious. So there's lots of space. Peaceful. So when something's peaceful, it's nice and quiet, nice and calm. Open. So it's very, very open space. Flat. I've also got green. Vast, so it's nice and big, colourful, bright, broad, okay? And these are all words that I can use for the rest of the week when I'm writing my setting descriptions. These are going to be really helpful. And then finally up here I've got stream. So as you can see, I've just put stream there, and then around it I've popped all of these words. So for example, the stream is flowing, it is pure, it is mighty, so it's big, it's wide. You might describe the water as being quite choppy, especially where it's hitting the rocks. It might be quite choppy and create some ripples. Rapid, which means it's fast. And then winding, so it might not be a straight stream, it might be like a winding stream. Now these here are only just a few examples of some of the wonderful vocabulary that you can think of today. Like I said, you might choose to do it in a list, so put your headings along the top and put your list underneath of your words. Or you might choose to do it like me, so get a plain piece of paper, put those words, and then write the words around them. As I say, you are more than welcome to look online to find some inspiration of those different words, or you could just think of them, okay? And I look forward to seeing your word banks with all of your different words. There's no maximum, there's no minimum, okay, for each of those. As you can see for bridge here, I've only got 5 words there. I was able to think of a few more for field. So it's completely up to you. You probably get around 5, 6, 7 words for each of those things. All right. Now I hope you enjoy doing it, because this will really help us for the rest of the week with our setting description. I look forward to seeing all of the different words that you come up with, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you, everyone.